620 CKRM, the source, the comeback kid, John Anderson doing a little swinging. It's 10:34. I'm Colin Lovequist. Good morning. Thank you so much for popping by, sharing a part of your day with us. We always appreciate the company, and we're going to reward you with the best in country music, the latest information, and of course, we always love making new friends, meeting people, and having nice little chats about country music, the industry, and what everybody's been up to. And there's nothing nicer than the family harmonies of a group, and they just received the June nomination for the Best Country Album of the Year. They were on tour with their good friend Paul Brandt and Brian Curtis Remples, known as High Valley, in the house. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
How's life? Been on a bit of a whirlwind tour?
Yeah, our record released 2 days ago, and we have been trying to let the entire world know as fast as we can, and so far we've made it all the way to Regina, so that's good.
Very nice. And the CD has been well received. I know you guys were just on the road with Paul Brandt through the province, and you had a great response back then, but you got some loyal fans in the area.
Yeah, they seem to have kept in touch with us quite well, because when we let them know that the record came out, they all went and bought it right away, and that was reflected on iTunes, which is pretty exciting for us to be #1 on there and just know that you know, people are paying attention to the music we're putting out, and so far the reviews we've heard have been really encouraging, so that's great.
Well, the new CD is called Love is a Long Road, and this CD quite a positive feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our music's always been about faith, family, and farming, and we try to keep that theme rolling, and we try to put a positive message out there because, I mean, we all know that there's enough negative stuff going on in the world, and we just decided early on that we didn't want to be a part of that. So
yeah, there's a lot of roll the windows down and crank it up kind of tunes on the record, and there's also some pretty thoughtful stuff that's made a couple people cry so far, so
nice.
I don't want to be held responsible for that.
Yeah, well, if you can stir up any emotion, that's a good project.
Mm-hmm. We believe so, yeah.
Now, how do Canadian-born siblings from a small Alberta farm get to the point where they are now? How did this all come to be? Who wants, Curtis? You want to chime in on that one?
Sure, I can.
Sorry.
Hey, no problem. They can't see you.
No, I had a face for radio.
You pointed at the wrong guy. I mean, yeah, we grew up in the country. We grew up in a town called Lovequist in Alberta. Actually, we grew up 18 miles out of town on a farm, and obviously there isn't a whole lot to do out there, so you're kind of forced to be creative. And Mom and Dad played guitar. Mom had a nasty 12-string, and Dad played bass guitar, and they taught us how to play and how to sing. And what's that?
That was 15 years ago when we first started. So
yeah,
thanks to a lot of Paul Brandt opening a lot of doors for us. That's kind of how we, you know, first got on the map, and obviously thanks to you guys and other radio and TV for embracing it. 2 years after the first record, it feels a lot different than it did 2 years ago. That's for sure.
Well, definitely have come a long way from where you were 2 years ago. In fact, 2007, you were the GMA Canada Covenant Awards winner for the hit "Back to You," honored for the Country Song of the Year, and Juno nominations, of course. The accolades keep rolling in. Is that a validation of the last few years of all the hard work?
Yeah, the Junos was pretty special because, you know, obviously everybody in Canada has heard of the Juno Awards regardless of what style of music you're involved in, and they had us walking the red carpet together with Nickelback, which was pretty crazy, and obviously that was pretty overwhelming and tons of photographers everywhere. But when we walked in the doors after the red carpet, we were able to meet Ron McLean, which was pretty sweet for us, and got to spend the weekend hanging out with Gary Roberts and Paul Coffey playing hockey in the Juno Cup, which was definitely a huge highlight for me.
Yeah, very cool. Speaking of hockey, Brian, were you glad the Kings won it this year?
You know what? I think I watched maybe 10 minutes of playoff hockey this year.
Is that it?
Yeah.
He is Canadian, though.
He is the non-hockey brother.
Yeah. So sorry no one put on that one.
I actually grew a playoff beard for the Kings.
Did you?
Yeah, but we were heading down to Nashville for CMA week, and I really didn't want anybody down there to see it because they wouldn't really understand.
You'd have to
you know.
explain what hockey was.
Yeah, and it was a nasty looking beard anyway, so I shaved it off.
It did kind of point back to the Mennonite roots, though, having
Definitely.
Amish-looking beard.
There you
so,
go.
Yeah.
Hey, Mennonite, you guys came from a Mennonite family. It was sort of interesting how you came to be and got back to Canada. Your parents from Mexico.
Yeah, it's not the most normal story you've ever heard, but horse and buggies, no electricity, a Mennonite colony down in Mexico. That's where our mom and dad were born and raised, and as a fairly young boy, my dad and his family rode the box of a 53 GMC grain truck all the way from Mexico to southern Ontario, and that's how the Canadian migration began.
Well, that's a book or a song in itself right there.
Yeah,
It should be.
It should be.
It's hard to rhyme with yellow.
Now,
Is it really?
You came from very humble beginnings. Is that reflected in your songwriting or your music? You know.
I definitely like to think so. We always try and be real honest with and truthful about what we know and write things, sing about what we know, and you definitely hear a couple songs on the album, especially songs like Porches or Trying to Believe, which are both on the brand new record, are very, very honest songs. And of course there's a lot of universal stuff that everybody in country music experiences that we love to sing about. But always at the forefront, being small town, farm boys is definitely where we draw a lot of our influence from.
Well, you can see the inspiration on the CD and the feel of it. It's very positive and down to earth. And you did the project in Nashville, I would take.
Yeah, and we recorded in a little log cabin 25 miles west of town, in this tiny little town where the nearest place to eat is Eddie's hardware store. So we figured that made it fairly legit right there.
How big of a influence, or how many fingers did he have involved? We're talking about Paul Brandt, because I know he's a part of the project.
Yeah, Paul has and was and will continue to be a huge influence and mentor and role model for us, and taking us on tour for 40 shows right before we finished this record was the biggest involvement he had in this one.
Yeah.
We weren't able to write together. The last time we wrote a song together was actually Paul's song, Together Again, and since then it's just been touring. But he's very supportive. He let us know that the title track on this record is his favorite cut on the album, and it's called Love is a Long Road, and I was able to finally take Paul out for lunch the other day in Nashville at a Mexican restaurant.
Nice.
So he bought us enough steak dinners at the keg. I bought him a few chicken enchiladas, so it was payback time.
Very cool. I got Brad, Brian, and Curtis, the Rempel brothers, better known as High Valley. Their brand new CD is Love is a Long Road, in stores now, and you can check out their website, highvalleymusic.com, or go to Facebook, Twitter, High Valley, and get all the information there as well. I know you guys brought your instruments. We're going to get you to play a song for us here. I just want to ask you, being three young men down in Nashville, what's the Nashville scene like these days? Is it thriving?
I'd say it is. It's pretty hard to escape country music living in Nashville. Obviously, there's always the debate going on about what truly is country and what's pop and all that stuff. But within the overall scheme of country music, it's all around you, and I definitely enjoy it like crazy. It's as a songwriter, I want to be there on Music Row writing songs with people who are paying attention to what's going on in the industry, and it's I absolutely love it down there.
Would you advise artists that are starting out, like, get your butts to Nashville if you want to make it? Or
No.
With the social media and all the networking nowadays, can they do it
Yeah,
from Lacrete, Alberta?
Oh yeah, you can do it from Lacrete, Alberta. We got noticed in 2001. We had a website, mp3.com/High Valley. And my dad was pulling the engine out of an old white, I think it was a 2135 tractor, and he was pulling the engine out of it when the phone rang in the shop, and some guy in Nashville was asking for $60,000 and said, "I saw your boys on the internet and I can turn them into superstars." And needless to say, we didn't spend 60 grand on that man, but my dad always says if he could have seen the piece of junk tractor I was working on, he never would have asked me for that amount of money.
What we're going to do right now is we're going to pay some bills on the other side of this. We are going to get you guys to sing us a song, if you don't mind.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're coming right back with High Valley here on The Source, 620 CKRM.